everybody. Recording live from somewhere.
Minister of Information.
Minister.
Did you wake me up?
Minister.
Did you wake me up?
Minister.
Why did you wake me up?
The minister.
Wake up.
Minister of Information. All I'm offering is the truth.
The minister.
The ministers.
I want the truth.
The minister.
You can't handle the truth.
M.O.I.
Minister.
Without knowledge of self.
Minister of Information. M.O.I.
Who taught you to hate yourself?
1,000 ministers.
M.O.I. podcast.
Peace and love, peace and light. Another episode of Sunday School with your boy, Mr. Information. Let's get it. Let's get right into it. Let's tap. Peace and light, brother.
Peace and love, good minister. How are you?
All is well, all is well, all is well.
Another episode of the M.O.I. podcast with none other than the Minister of Information. This is right, family. It's Sunday. And I think the minister, as always, has something incredible for us. Minister, before we get into it, do you mind if we, see who we got in the room with us?
For sure.
Now, within the first 2 minutes, there's more than 40 people. So we'll just acknowledge the first 3 people for the sake of time.
For sure.
So it looks like Tressie Hutchins. She says, Grand Rising M.O.I.
Peace and light, bro. Peace and light.
Latasha Montague. She says, how are you? Straight from the 804. We ready.
Let's go, Richmond. Richmond in the building.
That's right. That's right.
VA.
Number 3 of this perfect trifecta, Shadow Band. He's waving.
Peace and light, bro.
Now, we do have some people like on Facebook and other places like that. Shout out to Janice. We see you. Shout out to Eureka. We see you as well. But come on over to YouTube. Minister, can you tell them your official YouTube channel within the first 5 minutes for housekeeping?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the YouTube channel, if you go to my Instagram, it'll be easier to connect me because, I'm still building over there. But the M.O.I. podcast is the YouTube, but the Instagram is Minister Informing. Click the link in the bio. It takes you right to the page. I got to do some configuration on that thing, brother, to get my stuff, I guess to fuck with the SEO, they call it, for my page, because you really can't search it. You know what I'm saying? In the search bar yet on YouTube. I guess it's still so young, but from my YouTube, from my Instagram, you can reach it directly through the link in the bio.
Absolutely, absolutely. Put some respect on his name, family. M.O.I. That's Minister of Information. Of course, the podcast is on YouTube. Minister Informing on Instagram. Hear it now, believe it later. So yeah, with that said, Minister, let's just, because we want to just kind of let everybody get some time to get into the room. We're not even 4 minutes in. I wanted to say if the family could hit that like button, family. It does wonders. If you are already a disciple, let me just acknowledge the disciples real quick. If you follow M.O.I., you are a disciple. Okay? So with that said, the disciples, hit that like button. Gratitude. As you come in the room, if you are a disciple and you are, then hit that like button on the way in the room. Also comment, Minister, what should they say on the way in the room if they are a disciple?
It's Sundays, man. So I'll take it. Islam. Put Islam up there.
Okay, I'm gonna and for those who don't know, Islam means peace. Okay, family. And
That's it.
Okay, so we got the family in the building shouting out Islam. I see you. I love you. I appreciate you. You already know what it is. Type in Islam if you are a disciple. We're 5 minutes in, Minister. I say we get started if that's okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, brother. Let's do it.
So you had in mind talking about the Kabbalah. You sent some stuff to me that I wasn't necessarily expecting. Should I pull those things up?
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. I'll start with that first one you sent me. Let's see what we got here. Where
Let's
we
pull
at?
it up and dive right into that because I put it on my Instagram a little bit earlier, and I think that you know, fan probably had more questions. There it is.
No, that's not it. That's not it. That's something all the way else. Share screen. Here we go.
That white one. It's the one,
Yeah,
but
that's the right one.
yeah, sir. So you can zoom in on that joint, bro.
Let me see. See what we can do.
And this might be familiar to some. Go to the top of that joint, though. Yeah. Some have seen it, some have not seen it. Some recognize this as the Kabbalah tree, the Kabbalistic symbol for the teachers of the Kabbalah. And we have to just understand what the Kabbalah is, first of all, and what the Kabbalah means. But at the top of this right here, to the left, you see the sons of Bali, which is Baal worship. You're gonna see Baal worship at the top, and you're gonna see human sacrifice. This was all of, yeah. This is the altar. This is the altar right here, right? And they're breaking down the altar. And this is all of the tribe of Israel. So all you Hebrew Israelites, believers out there, all those are followers of the Torah, of the Tanakh, of the Pentateuch, the believers of Judah, Yahudi, as they say it. This is the origin. I don't care what it is now. This is the origin. At the top, you also see the pharaohs of Egypt and the kings of Babylon. That's who the whole skirmish is around. The pharaohs of Egypt and the kings of Babylon. Osiris versus Nimrod. Right? And we're going to dive into this. I want y'all to read what's happening on this chart. You have Set. We know who the god Set was of ancient Yukupta, ancient Egypt, right? And we have Moloch. Moloch can also be found in the book of Hosea. And speaking of the book of Hosea, you see right below that, right? You see the Sphinx tablets, and then you see the tablets of the law. So what you see is Thutmose, and then you see Moses. The first set of tablets were scribed by Thutmose, or who they call Tahuti, at a certain mountain range. We're going to deal with that mountain range in a second. At a certain mountain range, northern Egypt. And Thut gave Moses these tablets, but the Bible said that Moses came down and he destroyed those tablets. He threw those tablets to the ground and they broke apart. That was the destruction, symbolic destruction of the laws of Egypt. And now he was going to make a new covenant. See the Ark of the Covenant? That's where the covenant was kept. The new covenant, a convention, a type of agreement. You and I go into a covenant. The Ark of the Covenant contained the new covenant or the new law that was given to Moshe or Moses. This is the new law that was passed down by the god Baal, Hadam. And if we look up Exodus 32, I think it is. Exodus 32 deals with the fact that Moses was ordered to go to the mountain of Baal Hadam. Now, Baal in Hebrew could also means Lord, or this new Lord. And we're going to read the story where Moses went up the mountain, and I haven't even given the name of the mountain yet. But we're going to talk about the name of the mountain too. Right here. Yep. Exodus 32.
Bible Gateway. This is NIV.
Could we go to KJV? Because I don't want no smoke from Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew Israelites, it's got to be KJIV or nothing else. So
nothing else.
Yeah. There we go. Let's go to the King James Version, they say. Right? Now, family, what we're going to do is, what I always do, get your pen and your paper. Let's take some notes. Let's learn. This is not for entertainment. This is for education purposes only. Right? But let's let the scriptures teach us. Could you slide over just a little bit?
Yeah, well, actually, brother, I want to apologize. You know, we're still in the 10 minutes of this video. Before we get too deep into it, I wanted to acknowledge that the minister and the minister himself is going to be having a knowledge and enlightenment seminar. I'm going to be a part of that, of course. That's going to be December 9th through the 11th. So save that date. We're going to have, of course, M.O.I. We're going to have me. We're going to have Kaba Cabernet. We're going to have Taj Tariq Bey, Red Pill. I believe Blue Pill probably come. They're never far from each other. So Red and Blue Pill. It's going to be a lineup, family, a 3-day thing. Usually we only do like 1 hour. I think we've done 4 hours before, which was pretty cool. But this is something I've never seen anything like this before, Minister.
Listen, scholarship. When I tell y'all, me and this brother about to create a weekend collegiate event, this is where you want to come. You got master teachers like Brother Kaba, master teachers like Brother Taj, man. Y'all are never in your life see this combination put together again. Well, this group of teachers, master teachers, qualified, certified teachers, myself, Brother Crumb, Red Pill, Blue Pill. So much information is going to be given over this weekend, man. It's going to be bananas. But we only have a limited number of seats, though. That's the catch to this shit. This is going to be for those who really want to come out. It's in Atlanta. It's not a retreat. It's not a fucking retreat. This is a learning seminar. And that's what it's called. And I decided to go with the terminology midwinter encampment. I was going to go winter solstice. But I said, no, midwinter encampment makes it sound a little bit more serious, because it is serious, family. Every day, starting at Friday, 2 to 3 live lectures. Saturday, 2 to 3 live lectures. Sunday, 2 to 3 live lectures. And sound healing also on that Sunday. We're going to do yoga Saturday morning. We're going to do yoga Sunday morning. We're going to tap all the way the fuck in. We're going to raise the vibrational frequencies for the winter solstice. Getting ready for the spring equinox, where we have to raise our vibration, our level of understanding. Here's my new quote, and I'm going to get it on the shirt. You heard it, me say it first, damn it. You have to walk to the edge of what you think you know and jump. Because this was going to happen. This weekend right here, whatever you think you know, walk to the edge of this shit and jump. And this is what you're going to land up on right here. December 9th through the 11th, man. Save the date. We're going to try to put tickets on sale this weekend. Good brother Crumb sent an email blast out. We'll contact everybody. But as soon as tickets go on sale, man, I'm telling you, we only got 30 seats, man. And that's the part that bothers me, because it's like, shit, 30 people can get in here. And then we already have the room rates. It's a Marriott Hotel in Buckhead, Atlanta, bro. It's a sexy-ass hotel. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to get out of town for the weekend before Christmas holidays get here, man. Come tap in with me and your boy, Crumb. And we're going to be celebrating Crumb's birthday all the way to that date, because his birthday is in November. But we're going to also take that time to celebrate the brother solar return as well. So, you know, it's going to be lit, man. It's going to be lit. So come out, fuck with it. Tickets be on sale this weekend. Brother Crumb working on some other marketing materials. So you guys will definitely be seeing it here soon. It's on my page right now, man. Share it, tag people. It's 30 seats. That's all we got this time, y'all. So first come, first serve.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't do that in the very, very beginning. We try to do that stuff in the first 5 minutes. But as you were saying, Exodus 32, please forgive me.
Okay, so people get your pens and your paper. We're going to allow what's called let the scriptures teach us. We're not going to add or take away from this book, right? For in the book of Revelation, Jesus spoke and he said, whoever adds or take away from this book, shall we also take or add from his book of life for himself. I don't want to lose the days by taking away from this book. So let's read what it says. We all can read English. This is English. And when the people saw Moses delayed coming down out of the mountain, the people, it's a comma, so I'm going to stop at mount. That's how you read English, people. You have to stop at punctuation marks. You can't keep reading straight through that. And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down out of the mount, the people are the children of those he brought out of Egypt. Now, he did bring some people out of Egypt. Moses did. But let's talk about who Moses was, though, as the story is trying to explain to us. Moses was placed in a reed basket. Some books say a papyrus basket. The Egyptians created papyrus to put paper on. So his mother, his original birth mother, put him in a reed basket in the Nile River. See, the Nile River, there's two. There's the blue and the white Nile. And the Bible, in the book of Genesis, they're known as the Gihon and the Pison, right? So those two rivers. Moses was placed in one of these rivers, and the Nile River goes upstream, family. Yeah, the Nile River goes up. So this reed basket that Moses was in came up out of Ethiopia, or the land of Nubia, they call it, or a Cushite empire. And he came into Egypt, and that's when one of the Pharaoh is a title, not a person. It's like president. Pharaoh's daughter sought the reed basket and pulled him out of the water and named him Moses, because that's what Moses means. It means to draw out of the water. So Moses, the Bible says, was learnt in all the ways of the Egyptians. It said in all of the ways of the Egyptians. That means every single way the Egyptians knew, Moses also knew it. That means the magic. That means the dead, book of the dead, the book of life. That means Moses knew all of that shit. He grew up that way. He knew it. So Moses is now called upon by this other deity, because as Moses grew up in Egypt and he was learning all the ways, and he was learning all the ways of the Egyptians. That means he worshiped Egyptian gods. Moses was called upon by another god, another deity, to bring a group of individuals out of Egypt into another land, which is really still northern Egypt. And the mountain that he was directed to go to, was at the foothill or in the arena of a god by the name of Bel Hadam. Now, the Bible gives it Bel Zapadon, some shit like that. Z-A-P-P, I think it is. Baal meaning Lord. Now, Baal becomes the new deity of the Israelite community by way of Moshe. Okay? When Moses came down from the mountain, let's talk about this real quick. We'll get into the reading. Moses was at the mountain for days and weeks. Moses first brought up with him Aaron and the other Israelite priests. They came back down. Moshe stayed for an additional time period. The body of Israelites who were left over remaining with Aaron said, please build us a god to worship. Aaron then builds Apis, the golden calf of the bull, Apis, because they're in a time period, family, of the house of Taurus. Got it? They bowed to this golden bull calf that Aaron had created according to the scriptures, and they gave reverence, and they did a feast honoring the god. And Aaron said to them, this is the God that brought you out of Egypt. This is the God that did this. Now, while this is happening, in the text we'll read here in a second, a conversation happens between the god Baal and Moshe. When the god Baal tells Moshe that he's about to go smite them motherfuckers for worshiping this bull calf. Moses convinced the god Baal not to do so. Let's get into the reading real quick. I just had to set up the pretext right quick so people understand what's going on, who Moses is as it pertains to the story. And when the people saw Moses, the Israelites, delayed coming down out of the mountain, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron. Now, Aaron is also a priest of the tribe of Levi. Now, Aaron is a high priest of the tribe of Levi, the Levites, which is one of the first three sons of Jacob, right? You have Reuben, then you had Levi. Aaron is a priest of the tribe of Levi. He's a Levitical priest, they call him, a Kohen. Now, Jesus is not of their order. Jesus ain't got shit to do with the Levites. Jesus is of the order of Melchizedek. He's not unto the order of men. This is the priestlyhood order of men. Then Aaron said unto him, up, make us gods. The people are saying, make us gods, plural. Because see, in ancient Egypt from which they came, ancient Egypt had the big deities, but they also had smaller deities called, what they were called Washatis. And Washatis were these little figurine gods that they worship also. In Genesis, I think chapter 6, you also deal with the fact that, not chapter 6, after chapter 6, is when Joseph goes into Egypt, his wife Rachel steals her father's Washatis. Anyway, so, okay. Joseph steals these, not Joseph, Rachel steals her father's Washatis, or these smaller figurines, right? And her father got upset about this fact, that they were stolen. And these figurines comes out of ancient Egypt. The point I'm making is these Israelites who were with Aaron, they were asking, please erect the deities of old, which were from out of ancient Egypt. Moses represented the new deity that was happening. You see that? Now, if we go on to read in the scriptures, past 32, let's see, go down real quick. See, Aaron is now telling them to take off all their gold earrings. They had a lot of gold. These were the richest slaves ever seen, brother. Because you know that they say that the Israelites were slaves in Egypt, and now they have all this fucking gold on all of a sudden. I never seen anything like it. Anyway, so Aaron had them take off all their gold, and here's what Aaron makes. Aaron fashions a molten calf. Now, on that chart, you saw Egypt, and then you saw the new deities, El. This is when the war starts of the gods. This is the battle of the gods. Nothing to do with anything else. This is a battle of deities, of these creative nature forces, right? Who are now trying to wage a war on the souls of men. It's always been that way, right? So now the ancient Egyptian deity, who they know to worship, now is being basically toppled by this new deity, who is called Baal or Bel Hadam. Some call him Moloch, right? Some call him what's another word for him? Moloch, Eridu. And the deity Eridu goes all the way back to dealing with Inca and Enlil. This is the Sumerian mythology of the certain deities. But these certain deities gather at this mountaintop. This mountaintop actually that Moses was residing at, by the way, also correlates to the ancient Enads, who resided at the top of Mount Sin, S-I-N. And Sin is short for Sinai. When I say Moses at Mount Sinai, in Islam, it's Mount Horab, Horab, I believe it is, Mount Horab, of which Mount Jebel. This is where the Prophet Muhammad, Rasulullah Muhammad, salam, this is the mountain that he also went up to, right? So this is a special mountain. This mountain is also identified by the deities coming down to fuck with Nimrod. And you will see Nimrod on the Kabbalah chart as well, who was the ruler of their entire land called Shinar, and Babel, which was the area that Baal had resided also. So you see all this stuff in there, man. The city of Ur. Now this is cloaked biblically, but historically, this had everything to do with the Druid priests. The Druid priest has a very close simulation to these Levitical priests or these Kohanes called Jews today. And the association with Bull and the worship of bulls, which was Apis, an association of dealing with bull feces, that they call bullshit also, or holy cow, all right? All these terms association dealing with the Druid priests and the Celtic priests. This was an ancient religious war over deities. You see, you have Osiris, you have Nimrod. Why do you think Nimrod is even up there? Why not Adam up there? Why not Cain up there? Why not Abel up there? Because Nimrod was the bloodline continued down from the what you guys know as the giants, the Nephilim. This was the blood of Nimrod. Nimrod was himself a Gabor, or a mighty man before the Lord, it says. And these deities had to come down from that mountain to see who the fuck Nimrod was and what he was doing. Because Nimrod vowed to build a pyramid called a ziggurat that would surpass Mount Sinai. And these gods got upset and came down and confused the tongues of the people to cause chaos. Now, amongst this chaos, these same deities proceeded to rule this land of Babylon. Babylon and Shinar is the same landmass, y'all. It's called the ancient Mesopotamia today. Iraq, Iran, this is the entire landmass. But the deities like Marduk, who is also known as Baal, okay? These are just different names for the same deity throughout time, had a huge problem with the gods of Egypt and the pharaohs of Egypt. See, you see where it says pharaohs of Egypt and it says kings of Babylon? Pharaoh were kings. So this is a war of kings between the deities. See, Osiris, go ahead, bro.
I just want to point out to the family that what we know as kings today, or like rulers of the land, it was a little more in depth back then. These kings also worked as priest as well. You're going to see where Jesus was the king of the Jews, but Jesus was also a religious leader. I was talking to a Moor who didn't really understand Moor science, which is fine. Not taking shots at anybody, but I was telling him, I said, listen, a El is a god, a Bey is a ruler of the land, a Dey is a religious leader, and Ali is a political leader who is exalted by the people. Because they were just using these words and say, oh, Dey. Well, what is a Dey? What is a pharaoh? What is a king? Even when we look at Moses was raised as royalty, but he was not of the bloodline of Pharaoh. So what did they do? They made him a religious leader. They made him a Dey. They made him a priest. They made him of the Egyptian Levitical tribes, so to speak. And I wanted to compare this religious war that you were talking. Well, but before I go into comparing a religious war, I wanted to point out in terms of what the minister is saying. I don't want you guys to miss what he's saying. Remember, he said that Moses went to the top of the mountain. We all know that. But he brought up Nimrod. Hold on, because I was trying to show this when you were talking. Where is right here? He brought up Nimrod, which is right here. Nimrod was building a ziggurat. Now, if you want to take a crude definition, Nimrod was building his own mountain, and the gods who reside on natural mountains, if you will, were concerned because his GMO man-made mountain was going to be bigger than the natural mountain, and compared to the gods. Pay attention to what the minister is saying, family. Every time you see these gods, they're always on mountains. Somebody in the comments. I know there's a disciple out there somewhere. Just give me a second. Let me just play this real quick. Minister, do you mind?
Please.
All my disciples, here we go. If you are one of the minister's disciples, tell me right now, tap in and tell me, what mountain did Zeus live on? Because remember, all the gods are on mountains. What mountain did these pantheon of gods reside and rule from? We know so on and so forth. I just want to bring that real quick. And then, minister, I'll say this and I'll pass the mic. You were saying the war of the gods, and I don't think the family quite is connecting the dots, because I added value to what you were saying, and I want to do that again. So with Moses technically was an orphan. He was given up by his mom, and Moses was raised as royalty. Well, that's the same thing with Akhenaten. This is a portrait of Akhenaten's family, and Akhenaten's not in there. Nobody in here has a bulbous head, so on and so forth. And this indicates that Akhenaten, just like Moses, was raised as an orphan, inducted into a royal house. We're going to see where Akhenaten brings in this new god, just like Moses brings in the new god, and it causes lots and lots of turmoil. And just, I'll say this and then I'll pass the mic. If you look at the house or the dynasty that that Akhenaten was from, it was the house of Moses. The first leader of the 18th dynasty was Moses. Second was Amenhotep. Third was Thutmoses. Fourth was Thutmoses the second. And there's more of them in there. I just don't want the family to think when the minister says Moses, oh, there was no Moses. Hold on, family. You got to follow it, because there's two stories being told, one on the religious side and one on the historical side. And the Moses bloodline is the 18th dynasty of Egypt, where, because remember, Moses was raised in all the ways. I'll accentuate that point and then I'll yield the floor. I had a thing in here. Hebrews chapter 11, verses 24. By faith, Moses, when grown up, refused to be called. What did they call Moses when he was a baby? The son of Pharaoh's daughter. The black equivalent to that, baby mama, cousin, friend, sister. Who that? Oh, that's the son of Pharaoh's daughter. That's the baby mama, cousin. Don't call me the son of Pharaoh. Call me, oh, who is that? Oh, that's the king. Who's that? That's the queen. Who's that? That's the prince. Who's that? Oh, that's the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He didn't want to be called that no more. The Bible told you he grew up, even though he grew up rich, he didn't appreciate how they handled him, even though hey, you can't be a king or a queen. Oh, well, I'm sorry, not a queen. You can't be a king or a prince or nothing like that, but you can definitely be, the son of Pharaoh's daughter. We're going to make you a priest, put you over here, get out the way. I yield the floor, Minister.
No, that point ties in to so much good stuff, brother. Let's go back to the mountain for a second. And that mountain being Mount Olympus, what they should have said, had the assimilation of being the mountains of God, of the gods of old, of the gods of renown, of ancient Rome and Greeks, right? So if you look up, let's go here first. Look this up for me.
Okay.
Look, Satan takes Jesus to a mountaintop. Just put that in, because I forget what verse it was.
Ooh, okay. Now,
and while you're looking this up, I want the listening audience to remember now, this mountain where these gods reside, as they look down, they allow men to have different kingships and kingdoms down there, because some of the men in the Bible was also referred to as Lord, okay? Or Baals also. They were little lords, right? But these deities looked down from this mountain to make sure that everything was in order. So go to the verse right quick, brother. I want y'all to see another simulation of another deity by the name of Lucifer, who was also residing here also, right? Let's see. Go down. It's going to be the third temptation, so probably like verse 8. Hold on. Right.
Again.
Right there.
Again, the devil took him up on up on an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, all these things will I offer you if you will fall down and worship me.
And this is the devil at this same mountain, because it's two mountains. This is the second mountain. Verse 6 and 7 talks about the first mountain, and that first mountain where all the churches were, right? Watch this. Hold on. 8. And again, the devil took him up to the exceeding high mountain to show him all the... No, not that one. Go one more. Right here. Verse 5. Then the devil took him up to the holy city. And we know what the holy city is. Let's just stop for a second. The devil is taking Jesus up to the holy city, which is the new Zion, the New Jerusalem. Talks about in the books of Revelation, where the crystal city will come down and 144,000 be taken away, right? The devil took Jesus to heaven. I'm gonna let y'all think about it for 1 second. The devil takes Jesus to the holy city. The holy city is known as Jerusalem. All right.
Amen.
Some of them call it Zion, the New Jerusalem, and set him on the pinnacle of the temple, which is a church of sorts, and said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, and it's written, the angels so basically catch Jesus. Jesus said, thou shalt not tempt thou Lord God. And then the second verse, he takes him to where? Again, this is the second time. Again, the devil took him to a exceedingly high, a really high mountain. Because now the devil took him to the heavens. All right. Then the devil brings him back down to the earth plane and shows him the kingdoms of earth. And the devil is tempting Jesus by saying, if you just fuck with me, bro, I'll give you all of this, because clearly you don't have this. You can't tempt Jesus with something he's already in control over. So Jesus had no fucking authority over earth. That's why Satan was showing him the kingdoms of the earth that belong to him. In the KJV version, it says, Satan said, all the kingdoms of earth that was given to me, I will give to you. Who gave you these kingdoms? Who gave you rulership and dominion over the land? Now, another verse, and we'll move on after this right here, to just add validity to what I'm saying right here. Look this up. Satan, who is the god of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. There you go. 2 Corinthians 4:4. See, this is what happens when you let the scriptures teach you, family. You don't have to lead into your own understanding at all. It says Satan, who is what?
The God of this world.
No, go to the KJV. Remember that Hebrew Israelites will kill us if we don't stay with the KJV.
2 Corinthians 4:4.
Yeah, that's it.
2 Corinthians 4:4, King James Version. In whom the God of this world have blinded the minds.
All right. You saw the translation before. It's Satan, who is the God of this world, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. There's also a verse where Jesus says, I'm not from here. I'm from above and y'all from below. Jesus separates himself for even being here. The point is, this fucking mountaintop, it's the same mountaintop that Lucifer, or the devil, Satan, takes Jesus to the top of this mountain. All right? Here we go. John 8:23.
Well, yeah, I wanted to talk about that because a lot of people will tell you Akhenaten was an alien, and I'm going to keep beating this Akhenaten horse. And if you really listen to that verse, John chapter 8, verse 23, it do sound kind of spacey of Jesus to say that. Not only are Jesus's origins sketchy, okay, the whole Immaculate Conception thing, but he also insinuated that he was an alien. It reads, but he continued, you are from below. I am from above. You are of this world. I am not of this world. Well, all right, Men in Black, what world you from then?
Right. And the verse we just read, 2 Corinthians 4:4, says Satan, who is the God of this world. So Jesus is separating himself from this world, because the Bible also says be in the world, but not of the world. So that's what Jesus is talking about. Also, like, I don't belong to this dimension. And the fact that Jesus said this right here also, brother, he said that in my Father's house, there are many mansions. Now I will go to prepare a place for you. Where are you about to go? To go prepare what? For me to come where? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And and I know you asked a question a while ago, how do you get a mansion inside of a house? These mansions that Jesus is talking about are called mansion worlds. Literally, if you look up the mansion worlds of the Book of Urantia, it breaks down, I think it's 7 mansion worlds. And the Most High is over all these mansion worlds. The Most High, who is El Elyon, according to Babylonian texts. He's over all of it.
100%. 100%. People always talk about, Crumb, the Greys, the Palladians, the Anunnaki. Well, you, in sorts, subscribe to the ideology that we're referring to right now. We're just giving you a little more detail than the generalized, hey, if you subscribe to that ideology to say, yeah, the Anunnaki, then you understand there are mansion worlds where they come from. Even the Dogon said, one of the mansion worlds was Sirius B or something like that. Excuse me.
The Dogon were referring to Sirius A. You have Sirius A, B, and C, which are located in the Sirius constellation. They were talking about the beings that come from the planet Canis Major. You have Canis Major, you have Canis Minor. Okay, those Canaan or Canaanite looking creatures who came here millions of years ago were referred to as the Adapa. According to Professor Rick Smith, they were known as the Adapa, and the Adapa looked like these dog-looking creatures or these werewolf-looking creatures from the star system, the star system of Canis Minor and Canis Major. If you listen to the words Canine, Canaan, Canis Major, and they were referred to as the Dukes, the Duk, the Dukes of War. The Dukes of War They were a bunch of savage warlords, and they had the appearance of werewolf or weremen, or whatever the case is. So this is where they come from. And the Book of Revelation, it also talks about the stars of Palladian. The Pleiades is also a star system. Revelation also talks about the dragon in the sky. Okay, that's the star system of Dracos. The Draconians come from Dracos. So that's the Book of Revelation is talking about a alien invasion that will happen in this realm, and the alien invasion is dealing with the you might pull it up for him, brother, too. Book of Revelation talks about a woman standing inside of a crescent moon. This woman is representing Virgo. The crescent moon represents rebirth, and she's holding the sun over her head, which is a star. And a dragon is trying to come in and take her son, S-O-N, out of her hand. This is illustrated in the Book of Revelations, by the way. And it talks about the 7 stars, and it can be according to the 7 different churches, all right, on Earth. But these 7 stars are the stars of Pleiades. The stars of Pleiades. You pull up the stars of Pleiades, there's 7 stars, all right? These 7 stars of Pleiades also represents the 7 creators, all right, or the 7 creator sons, who are all L's, E-L. It also talks about the dragon. The dragon represents, again, the Draco star system, or the dragon star system. And the dragon was also mentioned in the book of Genesis, who's talking to Eve. So all these precepts and concepts, brother, that we're talking about, they all correlate. They all correlate. These are the 12 churches. And go ahead.
In the spirit of Halloween, I wanted to add value to that portion of the woman in the Book of Revelations.
Please.
Hallow. Now, I wanted just to clarify with the family, the word is Halloween, not hollow, like empty ween. And Jesus told you what his father's name, even though his father's name is ineffable, you can't say God's name. Jesus did give you some little bit of insight when he gave you the Lord's Prayer, which says, "Our Father, hallowed be thy name." I thought I had that somewhere in this PowerPoint. I'm 1,000,000% sure I had it in the PowerPoint. Let me just see if I can, but I'm going to skip down to the woman that you were talking about, because that's what I really wanted to refer to. So I'm going to skip down to that, but because your family should remember that particular story. But that woman in Revelations also ties in to Halloween as well, because we're talking about God. This is very religious if the family doesn't realize it. So in Egypt, let me go here. Halloween 101, Death Cult. This is just something else from one dude, the Book of the Dead, Necropolis, Egypt, because we're dealing with Halloween and the Day of the Dead, worshiping of death, so to speak. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. It's a woman PowerPoint slide that I wanted to show, and the woman in this particular slide is
Virgo,
and the Virgo represents, she fits in with that story in Revelations, and I have it here somewhere. Please forgive me, brother.
No, you fine. While you're looking for that, the story, this I think it's Revelation 22. But the story that's told about the woman standing inside the moon crescent represents Ishtar, and the worship of Ishtar going to the worship of the moon deity, and the moon worshippers versus the sun worshippers, which is Christianity and Islam. And the moon worshippers were basically under that same deity, Nana Sin. I think it's Nana Sin. Were all a cult of moon worshippers. They had the cult of Amun, who were sun worshippers. So at the end of the day, this shit turned into a religious a religious war on earth, but it started as a religious war in the heavens. So it's the same galactic war that's been going on for fucking eternity. Once you really start to read through everything, they give you the locations, the people, and everything. If you understand what's going on, did you find it?
Yeah, yes, sir. It was in my section titled Halloween 101, What is a Holiday? Even Neil deGrasse Tyson says holiday derives from holy day. Remember, in the beginning, there were no vowels, A-E-I-O-U, and sometimes Y. So holiday, the I and the Y are synonymous. It's really just holy day combined as a compound word. But with that said, people who believe in astrology think that the stars affect your life. They say that the position of the stars and planets on the day of your birth influences your personality. This is according to Stars Aligned. EnglishBaby.com. It seems like the stars are aligned to make him a star. When the stars align, everything comes together in a positive way. This is the Ori planetary alignment of April 3rd, 33 AD, upon the birth of Jesus, Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter, Saturn being the head because Saturn is really God anyway, and Earth and Venus, the two women, the foundation at the feet, Boaz and Ruth. And then what the minister was talking about, Revelations 12, verses 1 through 2. And a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, the moon, with the moon under her feet. Remember, the moon is feminine. And on her head, a crown of 12 stars, astrologers. She was pregnant and crying out in birth pains and the agony of giving birth. And as the minister said, that's talking about Virgo, which is a woman clothed in the sun, moon under her feet, pregnant with the child. And if you look above her, there's a crown of 12 stars, which is 9 stars in Leo plus 3 planets. This is the astrological connection to that woman in Revelations who the minister already said was Virgo. I yield the floor.
Yeah. It's exactly what it is. But more so what I explained as well is that's the house of the dragon of Dracon, the Draconians. That dragon that is chasing the woman while her foot is inside of the moon in Revelation 12, that dragon represents the Draconians, or the Draconian race, or the Draconian people, or the Draconian energy entities, whatever you want to call them as. They're chasing away that sun or that light. And this goes into some more occultic information that we won't get into. But I want to go back to the origin of the topic is dealing with Moshe at the top of this mountain, because we have to deal with this. It's a Sunday school, so we're going to go back to the Bible real quick and deal with the fact that Moshe at the top of this mountain was having a conversation with the deity Baal. And Baal looked down and saw that the Israelites, the children of the what they call Ben Israel, Bar Israel, the sons of Israel. At this point, it's the great grandchildren of this motherfucker. At this point, but anyway, they are beginning to worship this golden bull calf, and this god Baal became very vexed with the people and was about to come down a mountain himself and smite all these motherfuckers. But Moses was able to change God's mind. And the Bible says God repented that he even had the thought to go kill those Israelites, right? God said he repented. So once Moses calmed God down, that's when God talked to Moses, this new God, and basically telling Moses, your people are fucking tripping. So Moses come down Mount Sinai, and Moses himself took the bull calf and melted down the golden bull calf and made the people drink it. And he ordered Levitical priests to cut the fucking heads off the Israelites. So the only people who really left at that point were the Levites, or the priesthood. They made a new covenant with a new deity. And this is the worship of Baal. This is the worship of Moloch. This is where you get the so-called Yehudi people. I'm not going to say their names. The Jews, the letter J wasn't invented. The Yehudi people not even the Yehudi people, the real Jews, but you have a sect of people. And go back to that chart, brother, that I gave you, because now we're going to go down this chart. Because what I'm talking about is on this chart also. I'm just giving you the biblical version of what's on this chart. These individuals make a new covenant. They make a new covenant. Go down on the side under Babylon. Because you see the Talmud is written. The Talmud is written. You see the Karnak priest, and you see the King of Solomon. These are two different sects, S-E-C-T, right? Scroll down, past Yehudi, Judah. There we go. Now we get into a whole different situation right here. Now we're going to get into how the Khazars, these are the individuals I'm talking about right here. The Khazars, this is a Jewish sect of Khazars, that these individuals and these priests are not the same as the Templars, who were both dispatched by the Vatican. See, the Vatican or Catholicism or Judaism gives birth to Islamism.
Brother, I wanted to point out before you jump down to the Knights Templars versus the Khazars, I wanted to start at the top real quick, and we see Canaanites, but under Canaanites we see tribe of Dan. Now we know that Jacob had 12 sons, and Jacob wrestled a angel, or he tried to wrestle an angel, whatever the case may be, turned him to Israel. So these are the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes of Jacob, and Dan was one of his sons. And a lot of people say the tribe of Dan is the European. That's why you're going to see in Europe the river of Dan. People in Denmark are from the tribe of Dan. A lot of Dan references. Now, one thing somebody told me that blew my mind: just because they're the 12 tribes of Israel doesn't make them all Jews. The tribe of Dan was one of the sons of Jacob, the sons of Israel, one of the tribes in that land that the Canaanites took over. I'm sorry, that the Israelites took over Canaanites. However, the only tribe, well, there were two tribes, but the only real tribe, which was the Jewish people of the father Jacob or Israel, was the tribe of Jude, or the tribe of Judea. And the tribe of Judea was being run by a vassal, by a puppet whose name was Herod. He was the king of Judea at that time, but he wasn't a blood king. He was a Roman puppet, because it was Rome versus the tribe of Judea, because the Jews at that time were going against Rome. And the Jews, this is where the whole monotheism thing, we're going to see, because there were a bunch of Roman gods, and they were saying there's only one true God. And as the minister has been saying several times over, this is a religious war. I just want to point that out real quick in terms of who are the real Jews.
Yeah, that was fucking excellent. That was fucking excellent. If you look outside those bubbles too, brother, you see what the Romans are. They got the cult of Saturn, which is they introduced Saturnalia later in the Roman Empire. And under the Yehudi or Jews right there, you see the synagogue of Satan, which Jesus points out in the book of Revelation, calling them calling those Jews, particular Jews, under the synagogue of Satan. And then Jesus had another conversation with these same same clergymen, these same Jewish priests called Pharisees and Sadducees. Jesus had a conversation with them earlier, and Jesus tells them, "I know who your father is. He was a lie in the beginning. He's a lie in the end." But Jesus also points out that you're not you so-called Jewish priests are not of the same information that my father sent me to come talk to these people about, which Jesus had to come save that tribe. That's why Jesus was dispatched to this tribe in particular, because they were falling into the hands of Satan, or to the hands of the enemy, or Shaitan, they call him, right? So Jesus was coming to save these people only, he said to the Canaanite woman at the well. I only came for one people. I wasn't sent to the Japanese and the Mexicans and the black people. I was sent to these people. That's it. I was sent to just talk to them and to save them, because the tribe of Judah, remember, had been divided, half with Solomon, half with Adonijah, half went south and half went north. So even when the tribe of Judah themselves, they're already split and torn as well. So I just want to also point that out on the chart that talks about the synagogue of Satan right before I got into the Khazars. And the Khazars is going to be a group of individuals that keeps a lot of the old practices going, like the flesh sacrifice on the altar. And you're going to see the association with Rome, which later Germany gets involved, right? And Germany has a big quarrel against these Khazars, right? And a lot of these upper echelon Khazars allowed poor people under the same belief to get crucified or to get what's called sacrifice. And sacrifice in that language translates to Holocaust. Please pull that up.
Absolutely.
A Holocaust is a sacrifice. I wonder what they sacrificed for and how many had to be sacrificed. Because America do the same thing. America sacrificed bodies too, for no fucking good reason.
Holocaust is a sacrifice. Actually, even if you look at Wikipedia before they even read anything, it says Holocaust parentheses sacrifice, tomato.
Yeah. If you go to the image, under the same lookup. Watch this shit. What they look like doing it. Where's it at? On the end right there. The last black picture on the end. Right there.
This one right here?
Yeah. This is what your boy got tasked to do. Abraham got tasked to go sacrifice Isaac. So Isaac would have been a Holocaust member. Isaac would have been a person of, he would have been the first person of the Holocaust, actually, had Abraham went through with sacrificing him. That was a human sacrifice that particular deity had asked him to do. Now, it was not the Most High God, but remember that there's a lot of gods, there's a lot of deities that are tasking these humans to do different things, right? For example, the deity Baal, or Baal, he also had a lot of priests, and there was actual priesthood of Baal. He had prophets and messengers and everything of him as well. Okay, so Abraham was asked to sacrifice Isaac at this burning altar, and out of nowhere, a ram appeared in the bush. So he sacrificed the animal versus sacrificing the human. But Abraham would have made one of the first human sacrifices. Okay, and we know the first human sacrifice, according to the Bible, was when Cain killed Abel. That was a human sacrifice, because Cain was trying to find favor in the eyes of the Most High. Cain was bringing the Most High fruits and fucking vegetables to the altar, while Abel were bringing fucking fleshly sacrifice. He's bringing human sacrifice. So Cain said, okay, I see how this fucking shit works. What if I make the ultimate sacrifice and cut his fucking throat instead and gave him up for offering? And in certain Bibles, when God came looking for Abel, he tells Cain, where are thy brother? His blood cries out from the earth to me. And then Cain says what he says, like, I'm not my brother's keeper. I don't fucking know where he at. I don't keep it with this nigga. That's your problem, nigga. I don't know where he at. But Cain gave the first human sacrifice to the Most High in the book of Genesis. We have to understand the human sacrifice piece too. So this Holocaust goes forth and backwards throughout the teachings of the religion. Go ahead, brother.
I wanted to ask, because we were talking about mountains and stuff in the beginning, and a mountain is like a volcano, and I'm going to tie this into Baal in just a second. But have you ever heard, like, I remember watching the old TV shows or whatever, and I'm not talking about Christians or Muslims or anything, but just like real primitive people living on this island with a volcano, and the volcano was about to erupt, and they had to put a virgin girl into the volcano to calm the volcano so it wouldn't demolish the city or whatever the case may be.
Burnt sacrifice, yeah.
Well, a lot of people will tell you that Baal was a volcano god. Come on, Baal. Oh, I can't find it. European Jesus. Jewish God Yahweh originated in Canaanite Vulcan. The volcano imagery mentioned by amazing somebody is more sensible understood as a storm god. Okay, Baal was a volcano slash storm god. Volcano storm god. I was looking for the volcano one, but let me see if I can find it in my PowerPoint real quick. Control F VOL. Here it is. Volcano. Okay, yeah, I got it on the PowerPoint. Please forgive me. Boom. Okay, here it is. Moses and monotheism, the alternate ending. I'm just going to read the last paragraph. According to Freud, this is Sigmund Freud, the Sigmund Freud, who was a psychoanalyst. Also, he wrote the book called Moses and Monotheism, which he wrote it on his deathbed. The year he died was the year he published it. But he says, according to Freud, Moses led only his close followers into freedom during an unstable period in Egyptian history after Akhenaten's disappearance. The followers subsequently killed Moses in rebellion and still later joined with another monotheistic tribe in Midian. You're going to see the name Midian on those Shriner hats, who worshipped a volcano god. Oh, Yahweh is the volcano god. I'm sorry, not Baal. Yahweh is a volcano god. God. I don't know if the family knew that. In the Bible, Yahweh's appearance is usually accompanied by volcanic-like phenomena. When he descends upon Mount Sinai, as the minister said, to reveal the Torah to the Jews, the mountain erupts in fire, spewing lava and billowing clouds accompanied by earthquakes and thunderstorms, according to the book of Exodus chapter 19, verses 16 through 19. Yep. Please, minister.
No, that's facts. That's facts. That pillar of smoke always appears.
Right.
Just clouds. No, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah,
Yep.
that's right and exact.
So
wow.
The whole volcano thing, and even when you see, these people who have tiki gods, nothing Christian, nothing Muslim, they're still going to be practicing within the worship of Yahweh. And Yahweh is a volcano god. According to the descriptions of scripture, and even according to what the brother was talking about in terms of a Holocaust. When you see a Holocaust, you're going to see the fire, you're going to see the smoke, so on and so forth. This is your Holocaust.
Now, this Holocaust you see right here also takes place with who? With Noah. When Noah came off the ark, the first thing he did was build an altar and offer burnt sacrifice, right? Before the Lord had flooded the earth, the smell of this aroma of this flesh, it says, was sweet to the nose of the God. The burnt flesh offering was sweet to his nostril, the scripture says. So this infatuation with burnt flesh and burnt skin and volcanic ash and smoke and fire, barbecue, it's a cookout. God had to be black, y'all. That's my point. Nigga love barbecue. You know what I'm saying? So they would barbecue the animals after they sacrificed the lamb and the sheep and the oxen and the goat. They wouldn't throw the fucking meat away, y'all. They would skin them and they would eat. That's why the festivals would follow right after the sacrifice. Where the food come from? Who catered the fucking party? They catered their own party. They catered it by burning now the flesh of what they. This what makes a meal kosher. See, kosher meals are blessed before the animal's killed. See, you black Christians pray at the table when it's dead. You're supposed to pray before you kill your food. That's giving reverence, what's called reverence to God. But thanks. The Native Americans did it. When they killed deer or elk or anything like that, they would give veneration. You see it happen in the movie Avatar. Native people always give veneration before they kill something or as it's dying, not after you fucking put barbecue sauce on and eat it at the table. And some of you Negroes are at the table praying over pork chops. It's gonna kill you anyway. I never understood that, brother. But this is what's happening right here, y'all. This is a kosher display right here, a burnt offering, aka a Holocaust. So now you get the association, the simulation with the word Holocaust, and people being met their untimely demise, unfortunately. God rest the soul of the people who did die in the Holocaust. That was a horrible act. I don't care who did it. Horrible.
Now,
Horrible act. Anytime human life is taken is always a horrible act. But to put point to fact with this right here, there was always a burnt offering in a situation to these new deities. And I want you all to get nothing else out of this situation is these deities are still in control of certain sects, certain groups of individuals. And that chart was just showing you some of the lineage of how these people, these things came to pass. Because the chart really started at the Canaanites. But there's a chart that predates that chart that gives you how these beings even came down here in the first place. And it's dealing that comes from what's called the Urantia book, bro. The Urantia book deals with the wars in the heavens. Go ahead.
now we have reached the minute and 1 hour 6 minute mark. We have about 250 people watching. What do you say we should do at this point? 30 more minutes or bow out?
Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this fucking event. Get these tickets to this event, y'all. The tickets gonna drop this weekend. All y'all been here listening to this whole 1 hour. Imagine 3 days of this information.
Come on.
Myself, Brother Taj Tariq Bey, Brother Kaba, who else? Brother Abdullah Bey, okay, Brother Crumb. And it's really all it takes. But we add more people. We're gonna add red pill and blue pill to the ticket, man. We're just gonna sit down and build and talk. This is gonna be a collegiate seminar. All right. This is not a fucking retreat. Even though we're gonna be doing yoga and eating good fruit and eat some good plant-based food and getting back to nature. This is in time for the winter solstice. This is in time for the winter solstice, family, to reset your mind before going into the Gregorian calendar new year, so to speak. Right? Come learn some of the top teachers and scholars, y'all. The shit's gonna be crazy, I promise you. A whole entire weekend, beautiful Buckhead, Atlanta at the Marriott is going down. More information to follow. All right, Brother Crumb send a email blast everybody. You see it on my Instagram page as well. Tickets will go on sale after this weekend. Stay tuned, stay tapped in with more. Share it, man. It's in Atlanta, Crystal City.
Now, I wanted to add value to what the minister is saying because the family's asking what's the price. Family, it's a grip. I'm gonna tell you right now. But with that said, you can get early bird tickets. You can get early bird tickets, but you can't wait till the day of to get no early bird tickets. We're going to set a discounted price for people who buy their tickets early. And then for those who operate on CP time, you pay CP money. You pay the regular price if you purchase the day of, the week of. No worries. We're glad you're coming. But at the end of the day, family, you got to tap in. The tickets will be on crumbtv.info/events. That's right, family. crumbtv.info/events. But you got to get yours early. If you want to do the European Jesus thing in December, fine. Nobody's judging you. But if you want to be a part of something that's a little more positive, it's not brainwashing, it's all wise, right, and exact. It's from people that you can see and touch. Brother, I just want to harp real quick. I saw somebody on the internet who was doing their thing, quote unquote, but they never showed their face. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but just to me, it's weird. Certain people, you're not going to see them in real life. You can't touch them. We don't know who they are or where they at. You can see the minister in real life. We're not hiding behind a computer. It's not something weird. This is 100%. Yeah, crumbtv.info/events. You can get the early bird tickets at a discounted rate, but there's only a limited amount of tickets. There's only a limited amount of tickets.
That's the catch.
That's the catch. So the early bird is only going to be a limited amount as well. So we're working with your family, but at the end of the day, you got to tap in. Minister, can you relieve us?
Oh, for sure. So listen, y'all, tap in for more information. Like the good brother said, man, come check me out at the conference. I'm excited. It's gonna be a whole motherfucking weekend. And you're gonna get Sunday school in person, actual Sunday school in person. And we're gonna have out the charts and the PowerPoints. Bring your pens and your pads. Get ready to learn. This is a collegiate weekend. December 9th through the 11th. We're gonna drill it in your head. We're gonna encourage you to come out. A super educational platform, y'all. So until then, man, catch me on IG, Minister and Foreman, and as always, only on Crumb TV.
Hello, everybody. Recording live from somewhere.
Minister of Information.
Next question. Minister.
Did you wake me up?
Minister.
Did you wake me up?
Minister.
Why did you wake me up?
The minister.
Wake up.
Minister of Information.
All I'm offering is the truth.
The minister.
The minister's.
I want the truth.
The minister.
You can't handle the truth.
M.O.I.
Minister.
Minister. Without knowledge of self.
Minister of Information.